From my perception, as I'd seen in the media, I feel, and it appeared outwardly, that she did enjoy it when there was the quote Fab Four, and there were the photographs of, you know, her hair blowing in the wind, and the smiling and the waving, and, you know,
If you know anything about royal drama, you know Meghan Markle worked for years as an actress before joining the royal family. In Hollywood, people change their age on their resume all the time to get better acting jobs, and now, proof shows Meghan did the exact same thing. After her recent birthday, Tom Bower and Samantha Markle shared old-school pictures and talent records that prove Meghan is actually older than she claims. So, what is Meghan Markle's real age, and how did she keep it a secret for so long? Let's dive in. Meghan Markle's age mystery. What is she really hiding? Ever since Meghan Markle became a member of the royal family, she has found herself in the headlines for one reason or another. But now, she is back in the spotlight for a controversy that goes far beyond royal protocol, family drama, or her relationship with Prince Harry. This time, it is about her age, the story she has told about her childhood, and the claims made by two people who have been willing to challenge her publicly: her half-sister Samantha Markle and royal biographer Tom Bower. Now, apparently, Meghan's age isn't the only thing she's lied about, and her sister has all the receipts to prove it. So what else has Meghan Markle lied about? Keep watching to find out. On August 4th, 2020, Meghan Markle celebrated her 39th birthday, and the occasion did not go unnoticed by the royal family. Members of the family sent her birthday wishes through their official social media accounts, creating a very public display of goodwill, at a time when rumors about tensions between Meghan, Harry, and the rest of the family were already everywhere. But while the palace was sending birthday messages, another conversation was quietly gaining attention online. Was Meghan really 39? Or was there something about her age that the public had never been told? According to the official version of Meghan's biography, she was born on August 4th, 1981. That would have made her 39 in 2020. But a theory began circulating online, claiming that Meghan was actually born in 1977, which would have made her 43 at the time. And what was supposedly being used as evidence? An old photograph from Meghan's school days. At first glance, the photograph appeared to raise an obvious question. Meghan can be seen in a graduation setting at the Immaculate Heart High School community in Los Angeles, and some people argued that the image looked inconsistent with the age she was supposed to have been. If Meghan was born in 1981, they argued, how could she have been graduating in 1995? Wouldn't that have made her only 14? That sounds convincing until you look at what the photograph actually represents. The 1995 ceremony was not Meghan's high school graduation. It was connected to her middle school years. Meghan later graduated from Immaculate Heart High School in 1999, and footage from that graduation has circulated publicly for years. She then went on to Northwestern University, graduating in 2003. Suddenly, the timeline that appeared suspicious at first starts making considerably more sense. So, does the old-school photograph actually prove Meghan lied about her age? Not really. In fact, when the different stages of her education are placed in chronological order, the theory becomes much harder to support. But that did not stop the speculation. Another unusual theory even focused on the packaging of Capri Sun drinks visible in photographs from Meghan's childhood. The idea was that the packaging supposedly belonged to a period different from the year Meghan claimed the photographs were taken. It was presented as another piece of evidence in the growing online theory that her birth year had been altered. But again, there is a major problem. Packaging alone is hardly enough to establish someone's exact age, especially when photographs can be misdated, reused, or circulated without their original context. Still, there is one reason the age controversy became so interesting to people. Meghan herself had openly discussed the pressure actresses faced to hide their ages in Hollywood. Before she became the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan worked as an actress, and in a 2015 interview, she spoke about an industry where women could be pressured to appear younger because of the opportunities available to them. She said she had been advised not to reveal that she was older than 30 and explained that she was comfortable being open about her age. That statement gives the controversy another layer. If Meghan herself acknowledged that Hollywood could place enormous pressure on women to hide their ages, could that be why some people became suspicious of her own timeline? Or are people simply taking a genuine comment about an unfair industry and turning it into evidence for a claim that has never actually been proven? And this is where the story takes another turn, because Meghan's age is not the only part of her personal history that has been publicly challenged. Her half-sister Samantha Markle has spent years disputing Meghan's description of their childhood and their relationship. In 2023, Samantha's defamation lawsuit against Meghan brought some of those accusations into court. Samantha said Meghan had portrayed her in a deeply damaging way, particularly during Meghan's 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey. One of the central issues involved Meghan's description of growing up and her statement that she had effectively grown up as an only child. Samantha strongly disagreed. Her legal team said Meghan's comments had subjected her to humiliation and public hatred, while Meghan's lawyers maintained that her statements were opinions and recollections about her own childhood and should not form the basis of a defamation case. There was also a dispute over Samantha's surname. Meghan had suggested that Samantha changed her name back to Markle around the time Meghan began dating Prince Harry, while Meghan's legal team later said the statement had been misunderstood. But Samantha saw the situation very differently. And that is what makes this entire controversy so fascinating. It is no longer simply about an old photograph or a birth year. It is about two very different versions of the same family history. So, is Meghan Markle secretly older than she says she is? The available public timeline does not prove that claim, and the school photograph often cited as evidence has an explanation that fits her officially reported birth year. But the bigger question remains: why do these theories keep resurfacing? And why have Meghan's age, childhood, family relationships, and past statements become such fertile ground for controversy? The answer to those questions lies in everything Meghan has ever told the public. Meghan Markle's changing stories about food, family, and her public image. When it comes to Meghan Markle, it seems like there is never a quiet moment. Her years as an actress already made her recognizable, but becoming the Duchess of Sussex turned her into something much bigger. A permanent fixture in royal headlines, celebrity gossip, and endless public debate. But while most of the attention surrounding Meghan has focused on her relationship with the royal family, there are other details about her life that have quietly raised eyebrows too. From the way she has described her childhood, to some of the unusual choices she has made in public, and even the people who appear to be missing from her inner circle. Some fans have started asking a very simple question: is there more to Meghan's story than she lets on? And one of the latest questions revolves around something most people would never expect to become controversial: food. During her appearance on MasterChef Australia, Meghan spoke warmly about growing up in California and developing a love for fresh produce and home cooking from an early age. She praised her mother, Doria Ragland, calling her an incredible cook, and explained that food had always been one of the ways she expressed love and nurtured the people around her. On the surface, it sounded like a sweet childhood memory. But there was one problem. During her Netflix series With Love, Meghan had previously offered a very different description of the food she grew up eating. She described herself as a latchkey kid and recalled growing up with plenty of fast food and TV tray dinners. She even named restaurants such as Pollo Loco, Taco Bell, and Jack in the Box as familiar parts of her childhood. So which version is the real story? Could both descriptions technically be true? A child can grow up eating fast food while also having a mother who enjoys cooking. But when two different versions of the same childhood are presented so close together, it is understandable why some people started comparing the stories and wondering whether Meghan was simply remembering her childhood differently depending on the conversation. And the questions did not stop there. Her MasterChef Australia appearance created another controversy when she was introduced as the Duchess of Sussex. According to one report, Meghan's team was reportedly unhappy with the introduction and had specifically asked producers not to use the word royal. But another source pushed back on that version, claiming there was no frustration from Meghan's side about what was said on set. So once again, there were two completely different stories surrounding Meghan. But perhaps the strangest observations have nothing to do with what Meghan says at all. They have to do with what she wears. Royal fans have repeatedly noticed Meghan wearing heavy coats during unusually warm weather, including during her 2021 trip to New York City. Similar moments were later spotted in Montecito and at a fundraiser hosted at Kevin Costner's home, where others around her were dressed for the heat while Meghan appeared in a tweed coat. And then there is her family. One of the most persistent observations surrounding Meghan is how few members of her extended family appear to have a close relationship with her today. Apart from her mother, Doria Ragland, the public rarely sees Meghan surrounded by cousins, aunts, uncles, or other relatives from her wider family. That has led some fans to ask a much bigger question. Did Meghan really distance herself from almost everyone in her family? The answer is more complicated than the rumors suggest, especially because family relationships are private, and the public cannot know every detail behind them. Still, the contrast between Meghan's highly public life and the absence of much of her extended family has remained noticeable. And finally, there is another issue that has followed Meghan for years: the question of how much control she wants over the story being told about her. There have been reports claiming that she attempted to control what schoolchildren said about her during a 2021 visit to a New York City public school. There was also the controversy involving actor Patrick J. Adams, who removed old photographs of Meghan from his Instagram after questions arose over the posts. Individually, none of these incidents proves that Meghan is deliberately hiding something. But when they are placed side by side, they create a pattern that keeps people talking. So, are these simply misunderstandings, conflicting memories, and ordinary personal choices that have been magnified because Meghan is famous? Or are royal fans noticing something that deserves a closer look? Because when it comes to Meghan Markle, the biggest controversies are often not about one single incident. They are about the questions left behind after the headlines disappear. And if you think these are the only strange details surrounding the Duchess of Sussex, keep watching, because there is another part of her story that has raised even more questions: Meghan Markle's most controversial claims that still don't add up. One of Meghan Markle's most memorable stories about her time as a royal came from an encounter that was supposed to be a simple Hollywood moment. But years later, that same story raised a very uncomfortable question about what actually happened that night. It all goes back to the 2019 London premiere of The Lion King, where Meghan said she was approached by a South African member of the film's cast who made a remarkable comparison between her marriage to Prince Harry and the celebrations that followed Nelson Mandela's release from prison. At the time, it sounded like an extraordinary compliment. But then the man Meghan appeared to be talking about came forward with a very different version of events. Dr. John Kani, who played Rafiki in the movie, later said he had never met Meghan and was not even at the premiere. He also said he was the only male South African actor in the film, which immediately raised the obvious question: if Kani was not there, then who was Meghan talking about? Kani suggested that Meghan may simply have remembered the encounter incorrectly. And whether that is what happened or not, the story quickly became another moment that people used to question Meghan's version of events. Then came another comment that caused just as much confusion. While speaking to The Cut, Meghan discussed the way photographs of Archie and Lilibet were handled by the royal family and the press. She complained about the expectation that royal family members should first provide photographs to the royal rota before sharing them with the public themselves. But then she made a much more serious accusation. Meghan asked why she would give photographs of her children to people she said were calling them a racial slur. The problem was that she never made it completely clear who she was referring to. Was she talking about members of the British press? Was she talking about people online? Or was she referring to someone else? That lack of clarity immediately attracted criticism, with royal editor Ingrid Seward questioning the claim and saying there was no evidence that the British press had used the slur against Meghan's children. And then there was the bombshell that Meghan and Harry dropped during their interview with Oprah Winfrey. In March 2021, Meghan claimed that there had been conversations within the royal family about Archie's skin color before he was born. She refused to reveal the identity of the person involved, but the allegation instantly became one of the biggest stories to come out of the interview. Harry later gave a slightly different version, saying the conversation happened earlier in their relationship. That raised a pretty obvious question. Were they talking about the same conversation? Or were there two different conversations that Meghan and Harry remembered differently? The same interview also brought up Meghan's relationship with Kate Middleton. Meghan said Kate had made her cry during preparations for the royal wedding. That was a very different version from the story that had previously circulated, which claimed Meghan had been the one who made Kate cry. The competing stories have never completely disappeared, and over the years there have even been claims that Kate later tried to apologize. But the questions around Meghan did not stop with the wedding. She also spoke openly about her mental health struggles and said she had asked for help from the royal family but was directed toward human resources instead. Her comments became a major part of the couple's explanation for why life inside the institution had become so difficult. Then there is Meghan's story about how little she knew about Harry before they started dating. When the couple announced their engagement, Meghan said she did not know much about Harry and had not grown up with the same understanding of the British royal family. She even said that when her friend offered to set them up, her biggest question was simply whether Harry was nice. But Finding Freedom later claimed Meghan had done extensive research on Harry before their first date, and her former friend Ninaki Priti painted an even more complicated picture, describing Meghan as fascinated by the royal family and Princess Diana. The two had reportedly visited London as teenagers and even posed for photographs outside Buckingham Palace. So was Meghan really unfamiliar with the royal family? Or did she simply mean that she did not understand the institution as deeply as someone who had grown up in Britain? Then came one of the most easily checked claims of all. During the Oprah interview, Meghan said she and Harry had actually been married 3 days before their official wedding, with the Archbishop of Canterbury performing the ceremony in the garden at Nottingham Cottage. That sounded incredibly romantic, but the Archbishop later made it clear that no legal wedding had taken place there. He explained that the official ceremony in May 2018 was the one that legally married the couple. And once you start looking at the timeline surrounding Meghan and Harry's life after royal duties, another contradiction appears. The couple repeatedly said they wanted privacy and eventually left the UK partly because they wanted greater control over their lives. Yet, after moving to the United States, they became involved in major interviews, documentaries, television appearances, and commercial media projects. Harry appeared on James Corden's show, while the couple signed major deals with streaming platforms. There were also reports that they had been exploring media opportunities before they officially stepped away from royal duties, including conversations with Quibi and Netflix. So when did the desire for privacy actually begin? But perhaps the most personal question came from Meghan's own family. In 2021, Meghan said she had not seen her half-sister Samantha Markle for at least 18 or 19 years. But photographs from Meghan's 2008 graduation appeared to show the two sisters together, smiling for the camera. That does not tell us what their relationship was like before or after that moment, but it certainly made people question the timeline. Maybe some of these moments were misunderstandings. Maybe some were memories told differently years later. Maybe some simply lacked the context that got lost once the stories reached the public. But when one controversial claim follows another, people naturally start asking the same question. Where does the truth end and Meghan's version of events begin? And as those questions continue to trail her every move, that exact strain is now fueling a brand new conflict, this time over Prince Harry's upcoming trip back to London. Why Meghan Markle may choose California over Harry's UK return. Prince Harry could be heading back to the UK in September. But the biggest question may not be what he plans to do once he gets there. It could be whether Meghan Markle will be standing beside him when he does. Reports claim Harry wants his wife to join him during the trip, especially after allegedly pushing the palace to make arrangements for her during their previous visit. But so far, neither Harry nor Meghan has publicly confirmed whether she will actually be making the trip, and that silence is interesting. According to an insider quoted by Heat, Harry reportedly believes Meghan should return the gesture after the palace was allegedly willing to accommodate her requests during their last UK visit. The source claimed Harry stood very strong on her behalf and pushed for concessions from the royal household to make Meghan more comfortable. Now, the same source claims Harry feels Meghan should show up for him this time. The Duke of Sussex is expected to return to Britain for a series of charity engagements, and reports suggest King Charles has offered him accommodation at Buckingham Palace. The reported invitation has also been extended to Meghan, meaning that, at least according to these claims, the door has been left open for both of them. But there is apparently one problem. Meghan is said to prefer staying in California, and if that is true, it puts Harry in a rather awkward position. He would be returning to Britain alone once again, while the questions about Meghan's absence would almost certainly follow him everywhere he goes. According to the insider, that is exactly what Harry is worried about. The source claimed Harry dreads having to deal with people asking where Meghan is whenever he returns to the UK without her. And from his point of view, if the palace has been willing to make things easier for Meghan in the past, he may feel that she should now make an effort to stand beside him. But there is something else worth paying attention to here. Harry and Meghan have said very little about their plans for the September trip themselves. There has been no major announcement from the couple confirming that Meghan will be attending, and no public statement from them explaining why she would or would not travel with Harry. So for now, the entire question is being driven by reports and unnamed sources rather than anything Harry or Meghan have personally said, and that leaves the bigger question: why would Meghan allegedly prefer to stay home? The answer could be much simpler than all the speculation. Meghan has built her life in California, where she is focused on her children, her business projects, and the life she and Harry have created away from the royal family. Returning to Britain means stepping straight back into the environment they spent years trying to distance themselves from. For Harry, however, things appear to be a little different. His relationship with his father has been slowly shifting, and his recent trips back to Britain have given him opportunities to spend more time around the royal family and continue working on causes that matter to him. A stay at Buckingham Palace would also be a significant change from the complicated arrangements surrounding some of his previous visits. So while Harry may see the September trip as another opportunity to reconnect with Britain, Meghan may see it very differently. And that difference could explain why the couple have yet to say anything publicly. There is also the issue of Harry's relationship with King Charles. The Duke has made it clear over the years that he wants a relationship with his father, even while remaining deeply critical of other aspects of his royal life. A visit that includes staying at Buckingham Palace could therefore carry more meaning than simply finding somewhere to sleep. It could be a quiet sign that things between father and son are moving in a different direction. But where does Meghan fit into that picture? If she joins Harry, it would put the couple together in Britain during a period when attention around their relationship with the royal family is already high. If she stays in California, Harry will once again have to navigate the UK on his own, and the question of Meghan's absence will almost certainly become part of the conversation. Neither of them has confirmed what September will actually look like, so for now, all we have are the reports, the rumors, and the silence from the couple themselves. But if Harry really does want Meghan standing beside him, the question is whether she feels the same way. And if she doesn't, what does that say about where the Sussexes are heading next? Do you think Meghan Markle lied about her age? Or do you think otherwise? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.